Okay, let's talk about that giant elephant in the room, because it seems to be something which has been so carefully ignored for so long. The other party. This story started out with Xanamay going on a live and describing a beautiful Hispanic party that she found a video of while searching social media for other people who could have been in the vicinity on the night of the party. She declined to share the video, wishing to respect the privacy of the people who had been at the party, particularly since there were young children involved. While Xanamay was on the live, a Truckee local called in to ask specific questions about the people who'd been at the party. Can you guess who that local was? Let's listen to this Xanamay live and then go from there.
There is a video that I have. There was a party right next to the party itself. I have a video of a Snapchat because I went to, during the whole situation, I went on Snapchat and just kind of like, oh, let's see if anybody's posting stuff around this area. There was a video about this beautiful Hispanic party, and I don't remember, like, they were grilling the cactuses, but I really want to try them because they look so freaking delicious. But it was like literally right next to their party site. So I'm curious if any of those people actually saw anything that happened, or they heard anything, or that party was conjoined with the other party. Have you seen that?
What was the beautiful Spanish party? I remember that quote and stuff. What was that about?
So it's a screen capture from an iPhone from a Snapchat. Mm-hmm. So what happened, once I found out about this case, what I did, I went on Snapchat Maps, and I zoomed in around this area and then clicked, there's a little blue dot over there, and then clicked to see if there's any videos of the party or anything else. So that's all it is. And the reason I did not release it, because it had a person's name at the top, full first and last name, and I didn't feel right for me to actually release it because that's their personal information.
Xanamay, when you say you were there was a Mexican party going on, how did you know there was a Mexican party going on?
Well, there was a music, and it was a very cultural party. And I just made a decision, and I didn't say Mexican, I said Hispanic, because it was a Hispanic music thing. But
my wording is, because I know something. I'm a local from this town, so I found something out, and I just want to curious how it works out to you. When you were there at that party, did anybody call 911 that night?
I was not at any party.
How do you know there was music there?
Snapchat. It's a video from Snapchat.
Okay, I don't know that. No, I was asking if her niece was the one that had sent her a Snapchat from the party, and she said that she heard the music. So I was curious on who sent it to her, or did 3 girls from a store in our town send it to you?
No one sent it to me. It's on the Snapchat open source maps, and I did a screen recording of the open source tool that is available on Snapchat.
Okay. That's all I mean, there's lots of other questions.
I mean, she said a bunch of times that her niece is 11. It's just like, it's kind of, do you really feel the need to keep at, you think she's lying about that? And I'm asking genuinely because I'm trying to.
And there you have it, the beginning of Meghan's 911 story. Before I continue, I want to point something out that people may not have noticed. If you watched a lot of the early Kiely Rodney content, what you'll come across is that a lot of the times when there's stuff that Meghan has come out with that you think, yeah, that doesn't quite sound plausible, or it's just the narrative's not quite right. If you go back, you'll find instances where people have had a panel discussion and they've come up with a scenario which is something which has later come out as this groundbreaking narrative from Meghan. This includes her listening to Betty Bullshit, or whatever her name was, and coming out with the story of Kylie's car being the one and only car with the gears in a weird order, and that's how Kiely ended up in the water, because she pushed it out of gear because the gears were in a unique configuration. So what I'm saying here is that I actually don't believe Meghan's 911 story. And to be honest, I actually have never believed her 911 story. And I'll explain along the way through this video why I think she made this up, as opposed to this being something genuine. I will just point out the timing of her 911 narrative. She came up with this at a time when people were really, really going hard at Sammy. And if anything, it was escalating. Nobody believed Sammy's bullshit. Meghan was trying to stand up for Sammy, or perhaps trying to cover for someone else who was at the party with Sammy. But people were adamant that Sammy was responsible. So suddenly Meghan pops up on Michelle Sutton's Live claiming that she'd heard that someone had made a 911 call on the night of the party because they saw a car being driven into the reservoir. That progressed to her having a 16-minute recording that she'd made of her discussing with a store worker the story of her, as in the store worker, seeing Kiely's car going in the reservoir. This, of course, she did after being found out by Michelle Walks, who, having heard Meghan's narrative about someone calling 911 about the car going into the reservoir, bought all the 911 calls for August and discovered that no one had actually made that 911 call. Then you have Tyler Feller saying to Meghan, well, it's okay to ask questions, meaning, well, go back to the store and double check now that it's been proven that the 911 call didn't happen. So all of a sudden, Meghan comes up with this 16-minute recording that she's done with this Mexican girl, she says, who worked at a local store and who claims to have seen the car go really, really close to the water on the night of the party. I find it amusing that while people do believe this recording, and they keep saying, yeah, but the girl keeps saying she only saw the car go close to the water, yada, yada, yada. The thing for me is I am firmly in the camp of Kiely's car did not go into the reservoir the night of the party, which, of course, makes this whole 911 narrative even less credible. Why would someone create a fake narrative and a fake recording? Quite simply, she was trying to push the narrative that Sammy wasn't involved in Kiely's disappearance because Sammy left the party before Kiely went missing. So it is so very convenient to be able to invent a witness who arrived at the location after Sammy apparently went home and who supposedly witnessed a car going so close to the water, but then didn't see whether or not that car went in the water or vanished. I will just point out here that when a car is submerged, the headlights don't cut out immediately. If a car drives into the water, it's only going to short out once the water reaches the battery. The battery is higher than the headlights. The car is going to float a little bit. Even with windows open, the car is going to float a little bit before it starts to sink. But then, at the same time, we know it was too muddy for that car to have gotten in far enough to have floated in the first place. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, I just want to focus on the two different parties, the Xanamay party as opposed to the Meghan party. And I am saying that they are definitely two different parties, and you'll see along the way why that is. So it seems like there was an immediate attempt to create a smear campaign against Xanamay and about her party. I can't help wondering if this actually originally came from Meghan Cole, who was trying to push her own narrative, and for whom it would have been really, really inconvenient to have had this other party unless she could create her own narrative around this other party. Did it become a situation of the person who shouts the loudest is the one who gets heard? Because originally it was this party that Xanamay told us about, which actually started during the day, like in daylight hours, and there were heaps of people there. And the location, as shown on the Snapchat maps, and we'll get back to that, was directly opposite the location where the kids' party apparently was. So my question is, did Meghan run off half-cocked and go, okay, I've got this narrative now. Xanamay said there was a party there at the same time. So if I claim that I know the people from the party because I'm a local, then I can take hold of this particular narrative and sell it to people to convince people that Kylie's car went in the reservoir after Sammy went home. Obviously, I'm just speculating here, but I will point out later in the video some things in connection with Meghan's narrative that just don't fit for me and don't jive for me. We'll get back to that. But next I'm going to play a video, which is another video of Xanamay on a different live. I think it was Popcorn Planet, and she was explaining her video. This was after people started criticizing and questioning her video. And as I said, I suspect that the intention behind people criticizing her video and questioning her video was possibly someone else attempting to take control of the narrative. There is evidence that this party that Xanamay talked about did actually occur. And there's a video which shows that. Not just this one that I'm going to show in a minute that Xanamay took, but then Brittany, or Ask Brittany, or Allegedly Brittany, or whatever her name was, also did a video where she showed how she herself had found it on Snapchat, and she shows the map and she shows the video. Given that there are screenshots out there taken by people who basically followed Sammy's location and screenshotted it right up until when Kiely was found, and there's also a screenshot showing Sammy's location when they were retrieving Kiely from the reservoir, why is it not plausible for someone to have gone into Instagram or whatever it was and find a video based on location? Heck, I did a similar thing. I used the hashtag Prosser and hashtag Bocker to find people who were in the area at the time of the party. I didn't go anywhere with that, but there were people in the area at the time of the party who could have been contacted by creators. All Xanamay did was find this party based on the location and the date and the time and do a screen capture of that. I personally find this far more credible than Meghan's recording and Meghan's narrative, but we'll get back to that shortly. Okay, so let's go on to the next video where Xanamay is explaining her video to Popcorn Planet and then I will follow up directly with the video that Brittany did, which just clarifies it just a little more.
Right next to the kids' party occurring at the same time. Do you have an answer for that?
Snapchat maps. It's a screen recording of the Snapchat maps. It's open source.
Sorry, Xanamay. The only weird part there is that you have Snapchat. People still have Snapchat? What the hell?
So, so this is the video of, I did the screen. Oh, hold on a second.
I'll jump out for a moment. You're going to play a video? I'll jump out. And
no, it just, oh, sorry.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Okay, we got it.
Those look amazing. So this was at actual campground, but it was like right next to them, right next to their party.
Oh wow!
And they look like they're having so much fun. I want to be part of this, right? Yeah. So I took a video.
And it looks like a beautiful campground. No, it's gorgeous,
right? And it was right next to that.
Wow. So this is a place where families go to have a good time. It looks safe.
Exactly.
Looks like a safe place to be. It looks like a lot of fun.
And then this was Friday night.
Wow.
Sorry.
Bunch of kids out there having a good time. No?
And it's crazy to me because I know what the reason that Xanamay wasn't releasing the Hispanic party. She didn't want to risk these innocent people, this innocent Hispanic family and their little children, probably, I would say, 4 and 6 years old that were in the video. So what I done, I removed the 4 and 6 year olds up close part in the video, and I covered up the family's name. I'm going to be sharing that with you guys. That video does exist, and it actually shows that she found it on Snapchat the way that she stated she did. So all of those people that said, oh, no, you were just there, that's why you know. No, she really did find this Snapchat video. All right, here we go. Let's share out the screen. Let me take you back in time just a little bit. You remember the podcast where Xanamay very first met Ryan at church? Yes, Tony Dodge, All-American Dream Church. And in that podcast, she stated to Ryan at church that she had a video of a beautiful Hispanic party that was located right beside Foster Lake party where Kiely Rodney attended. She later let us know that she had found this video through Snapchat. And you can tell that in this video that I'm sharing with you that it was found on Snapchat. I did remove some very, very young minors, like parts in this video, really up close of their faces. That little boy that was walking away. To protect young children from really terrible people that I myself have been dealing with. I couldn't imagine the levels of harassment that Xanamay's been going through, but I am going to make sure to debunk all of the lies that were told on her. Let me take you back in time.
I've never used Snapchat or Snap Maps, but I've seen the screenshots of Sammy's location that were taken around the time that Kiely was missing. And this certainly looks like exactly the same thing. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's quite clear here that what we've been told is correct. Xanamay found this party using Snapchat or Snap Map, and then from that she found the video of the party, which she did a screen recording of, which is what you've just seen. Just talking about the rest of the narrative, with Xanamay originally having discussed this party without sharing any images, we then had Meghan Cole popping up on Michelle Sutton's live, claiming that a mouse had led her to someone who told her that there had been a 911 call on the night of the party because someone had seen Kiely's car being driven into the water. Then, following this, Michelle Walks came out and said, well, I've actually done all the tapes from August and there was never a 911 call made. So Meghan then went on Tyler Fellows live and went, I was lied to. There was no 911 call. And Tyler was like, well, go back and talk to them. At which point, Meghan came up with the real person who was at the party, or one of them, and her 16-minute recording of this person. Then we have Xanamay coming back, probably oblivious to what Meghan was doing, and showing her video of the party. We have Brittany and a few other people popping up and saying, look, I found the video too. I went on Snapchat and I used Snapchat location and I found the video. Here it is. Here's the proof that the video exists. With people having believed that they have proven Xanamay's video to be true, they let it go and moved on to other things. But Meghan, on the other hand, wanting to push her own narrative, kept pushing the 911 narrative. And she did a tour of about 2 or 3 different channels around the time that she was ready to drop the audio. Before going further into that, I'm going to play the clip from Michelle Sutton where she claims, I am 95% truthful, or whatever it was, and then talks about the 911 call, and then we'll discuss it further from there.
I also know something else that I'm 95% truthful. I know, or 95% sure that it had happened. That night, and at the party that Xanamay said about, where there was a Mexican party. Again, I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who the party was. I went into our local grocery store and I was talking about Kiely. Funny story how that came up. Not going to go into that. And she said, well, my girls that work here and have been working there for many years saw lights go into the park, called 911 that night because they saw lights go into the water. So because she wasn't missing at the time, they didn't take it seriously. So it's kind of like the whole same thing where the bodysuit wasn't taken seriously. Finding the laptop wasn't taken seriously.
Is it okay if I ask you some questions based on your call you had with Michelle the other day?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so were you saying that like you think the 911 call is true, or were you saying that you heard?
I found out today, because I heard this a couple weeks ago, and I found out today that someone had actually paid for the after I said that, has paid for the month of the whole month of 911 calls from August to whatever, and there was no 911 call made. I guess I got lied to on that one because I thought it was strange too. But then I heard you say just now about that it could be that they did nothing about it. So I don't know. I was told that from someone.
What they bought was like the police scanner. So like that doesn't say anything to me. But tell me what happened, because you were on. We're not gonna have like an 8-hour stream, but you were on that stream for too long. Britt, can you break me down just the bullet points of it? So essentially what happened was you were at the grocery store. The cashier or someone says to you.
No, I happened to ask someone that worked there a question about something completely different. And I was showing them a picture of something else on my phone, and Kiely came up on my phone. And she said, and I said, that's about the missing girl. And she said that her workers that work there had told me that they had seen lights go into the water, and they called it in, and she believed them because it was someone that she trusted, but they didn't take them seriously. So that's all I know.
Okay, so you were just hearing it like third hand, and then.
But she told me that she said that the people that she heard it from, she believed they've never lied to her before. And so I've known it for about a month, but no one's ever said anything about it. So I didn't.
Who was the person?
And so what do you mean?
You said it was one of her girls. It was like a girl who works at the store?
Yes, that she's worked with. She was their boss.
So maybe you can go back in the grocery store and ask the actual girl. She works there.
I actually went through her line yesterday, and I was going to ask her, but then I got kind of chickened about it because I don't know if she wants her name out there. The lady wouldn't give me her name.
But it's okay to have a little courage and ask some tough questions. That's what I'm doing with you right now.
I found out tonight because I went in and I asked this question, and I happened to walk up to a lady that was at Prosser and was across the way. and saw the whole thing. So, with that being said,
So
I
there's
now
an
know.
eyewitness to what happened. Is that
Yes.
what you just? Okay.
Oh my
And your
goodness.
kids and your kids.
And this has been told. Let me just say this. This has been told to Ellie, and
Wow.
1,900 hours was wasted.
Okay, wait a minute. So I'm going to take the floor for a minute. So RN says, I want you to stay here, but I just wanted to ask her some questions for a sec. Okay. So, is that, hold it. This is like enraging
like
to me.
I said,
that must be enraging to you.
Nothing from what you guys are saying right now matters at all.
Gotcha.
Period.
So it's like so what you're saying is it's like so off base.
It's the easiest answer that I've already knew. When I found out, and I have it on record, I have a 16-minute recording that I'm not supposed to have because I that's why I need to go verify, because I wanted to make sure that I didn't get anything wrong. So I recorded
make sure
somebody.
You're okay. Listen, make sure you're okay in your legal grounds here. Okay. Like,
that's what I'm saying. There are legal grounds here that I have to make sure that are covered. And they've said that if you have any information, you can come forward and you're not going to be put in trouble about it. But what I'm saying right now is that what I've heard, and then there's only two ways that it could be wrong.
Sure, Megan, push that narrative. Okay, so my first question here is that how come we have a video which has been dated to the same night of the party, or the entire weekend actually. That party apparently started on the Friday and was still going on the Saturday night, so they were camping out there, several families. And the video shows lots of people. And then Meghan gets hold of this whole narrative and says that it was just 3 Hispanic girls having a party there, and that they turned up after Sammy left, by the sounds of it, and left at like 2:30 in the morning, and that's when they saw Kiely's vehicle go in the water. The two don't mesh. It's one or the other. I believe the video evidence more than I believe Meghan's recording, and here's a few reasons why. First of all, if you've ever listened to Meghan's lives, when she's live and then she takes her phone into the store with her while she buys stuff on the way home, I have never heard any other instances where she's taken her phone into the store with her and it's been so very loud that you can't actually understand what anyone is saying. None of the times when she's gone into stores has it had the really loud music and all the talking and everything that makes it impossible to hear. So apparently there's this one store in isolation, which she's apparently never been back to, at least not during a live, that blasts out the music really loud and has customers who talk really loud. And that coincidentally just happens to be the location where these Hispanic girls work. It doesn't make sense to me. I question whether the whole recording is fabricated. And there's another reason why I question that it's fabricated, not just the whole really loud background stuff that's so loud that you can barely understand what they're saying, but also, I don't know if you remember, it was another one of those times when Meghan was really doing stuff that was just despicable, and she decided to ask her Alexa questions about Kiely. So listening to her talk to her Alexa kind of rang a bell for me, and it made me want to go back and listen to the cleaned up version of the audio from the store. Here's the thing that I find really interesting. While the audio from the store is definitely a different accent from the Alexa, it still has that very leveled out, almost fake sound to it. Was this voice of this apparent Hispanic girl actually created via AI? Meghan claims to be pretty dumb when it comes to technology, but we know that both her children are pretty savvy. Honestly, it wouldn't be hard for a teenager to put together a few different tracks to create this recording. Anyway, I'm not going to play the really, really loud version of the recording because it's really hard to hear anything above all the shop noise. But what I've put together is a brief recording that is cleaned up, as in with most of the shop noise seriously reduced, so you can hear the voices. I've also, in between that, added in some of the Alexa stuff that Meghan was doing. If you listen to the tone from the Alexa as opposed to the tone from the girl in the store, you'll see that it does have that kind of fake tone about it. The girl in the store has never come forward. Nobody has confirmed which store it is. And like I said, every single time Meghan takes her phone into a store while she's live, you never hear that kind of really loud background music and talking that you hear in that store. Obviously, if you're a local from Truckee and you know of a store that is that loud, please, by all means, correct me and tell me. But I have questions.
I'm here.
Okay.
I listen once I hear the wake words. Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I didn't understand the question I heard. Thanks for letting me know. Kylo Ren is a fictional character in the Star Wars franchise. He first appeared as the main antagonist. I missed something. Can you say it again?
Pick your
Misty
name.
is a fictional character in the Pokemon franchise played by Ash's sister.
They were like, call this number. I was like, no, I need to see someone, please. Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. Because, it was super dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't.
And what time was it at?
We were there between 12 to 2.
And so was it later in the evening or earlier?
No, it was between that time.
So between 12
I'm here.
Okay.
I listen once I hear the wake words.
They were like, call this number. I was like, no, I need to see someone, please.
You personally saw the cargo enter?
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. Because, it was super dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't.
And what time was it at?
We were there between 12 to 2.
I'm here.
Okay.
I listen once I hear the wake words.
I wasn't sure. Because, it was super dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't.
And what
they were like, call this number. I was like, no, I want to see someone first.
So you were personally you didn't call the police, but you personally saw the cargo enter?
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. Because, it was super dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Okay.
I listen once I hear the wake words.
Keep it together, look in the mirror, tell myself